It's time for the Bookie and the Bettor Show. If you're a sports fan, now it's time to play the odds and make every bet count. New episodes post every Thursday on your favorite streaming service. Now introducing Rob Kowalski, the Bookie, and Randy White, the Bettor.
Welcome back to the Bookie and Bettor Show. I'm your host, Robert Kowalski, joined once again by my best friend and colleague, Randy White.
Hey, Rob. Great Friday.
It's a great Friday.
Weather
not so good, right? Yeah. For those of you listening, you can't quite see, but yeah, those are rain marks on my my jacket. At this point, it's probably just a mix of rain and snow. I have a good feeling that tonight the meteorologists are going to cash their bets, and we're probably going to get ourselves a few inches of snow on the ground. But that's an us problem here in northern Nevada right now, Randy.
And you look, I mean, obviously I'm having withdrawals. We talked about it last week. Football being over. But can you believe college basketball is only 2 weeks away from the conference tournaments? Some next week.
This is very true. We have, and actually I want to go ahead and ease the pain as we'll talk a little bit about NFL. I've got a little something for you about the NFL for this episode. Of course, want to talk about, now that we are into March, talk about who we do prefer as who is going to be the NCAA basketball champion this year. Who's got automatic bids into the tournament because they're in first place in their conference, and that's how you end up into the conference in some instances. And then we're going to go and deal with Streak Fest. Last week, Randy, congratulations on multiple fronts.
Yeah.
You had a nice, clean divorce from the Oakland A's. I know you feel good about that.
I feel really good about it. In fact, I haven't even thought about them since our show.
This episode is therapeutic as well.
It was just like you took it from me. You were like, you were like a psychiatrist and not a psychiatrist.
And also, of course, we're going to be taking a step back and taking a look at your selection for the week ahead, as you did hit on your first ladder step up with Akron. You laid the points, and they did quite well with it, so very nice.
Yeah, and again, they were tough at home. I didn't quite understand that spread. And I got another one tonight.
Perfect. We'll save that for the end of the show. Randy, as I said, I wanted to go and take a look a little bit, if we don't have to touch on it every week. But this week, I did want to take a look at a few things as I was pondering with my colleagues. I want you to predict in the NFL, in week number 1, who the quarterback is going to be on the following teams. I'm going to name the teams. We'll take a look at some of the free agents that we know of course. So I want to look at the Denver Broncos. Doesn't look like it's going to be Russell Wilson.
No.
Or it might be. I'll leave that up to you. The Atlanta Falcons, the New England Patriots, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we know this, Randy. Here are the free agent quarterbacks going into just a few weeks from now. It's going to be Drew Lock from Seattle, who had himself a really good about a month for Seattle. Tyrod Taylor, Joe Flacco, Jameis Winston. Yeah, I could see it. You're starting to drag. You're starting to boy, these are a bunch of retreads now.
Yeah, we're talking about second-string quarterbacks.
Yes.
And now we're talking about them going to be traded or put on the waiver line to possibly be starters.
Correct.
What has the NFL done?
Look, I'll get better. I'm going to make the list better.
All right.
We'll go with Jameis Winston, Carson Wentz, maybe not, Jacoby Brissett, Gardner Minshew, who pretty much ran the entire season for the Colts. I
love Gardner, by the way.
Ryan Tannehill, Baker Mayfield, and then I guess the prize of the free agent crop, Kirk Cousins. Randy, any of these quarterbacks do you see starting? Let's go ahead and start off with the Denver Broncos. You think it's going to be Russell Wilson, or are you going to fit someone else?
It's not going to be Russell. And obviously from the standpoint, they got to have a veteran with that team. And again, with the salary cap where they're at right now, that's why they're going to get rid of Wilson.
Yes.
So, can they afford a Baker Mayfield? And again, Kirk Cousins, I don't think is definitely in that picture. They'll have to really wheel and deal. I do like Gardner Minshew, but again, we know the first 3 people on the draft are going to be quarterbacks,
right?
Pretty much. So Chicago's got number 1. The Arizona Cardinals are up 4, I think. Yes. So, and then, I see all the hype today about the Raiders trying to trade up. That ain't going to happen. You'd have to go through 8 different picks.
Yeah.
So I like Gardner Minshew, but I would not be a bit surprised for Denver just to take a veteran, a Jameis Winston type.
Oh, stop it. I was going to say it. Thank you. You read my mind. Of course, a
Because
reunion
he played for,
of Peyton and Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
I was going to say I'd love to add that,
He
but
fits
you
the style.
nailed it. Yes, he does. Excellent find on that one.
And then the New England Patriots. This is the one that I'm trying to scrape. Do you go in the draft and they're what, 8? 7, 8?
For sure, top 10. You need to move up to get anyone of quality. You're not going to get May.
But again, you got to jump 3 teams.
Yeah,
so you're going to
get
trade
May.
away
you're not
the
Caleb
nest.
Williams.
So, I like Daniels from LSU. And, I know Drake May. And you've got, of course, Caleb in there. The kid from Michigan, I like him too.
Yeah.
The only bad thing about him is during the course of the year, he didn't throw a lot of passes. Michigan was up by 40, and he sat.
Not only that, but they just ran the ball like they would. There's no tomorrow.
I like Drake May, and obviously Caleb is going to probably be the source of number one. But don't be shocked if somebody doesn't trade up to get Daniels.
Okay. So between Daniels, Caleb Williams, of course, Drake May from UNC, J.J. McCarthy was the one you're talking about from Michigan. Any of those do you see maybe? Okay, now here's a little complex one. We'll pass on Atlanta for now. The Pittsburgh Steelers, do they have a quarterback or do they not? Are we looking at a new purge and a new completely new set of offensive schemes for Pittsburgh?
I don't think they're going to trade Pickett.
Okay.
I think they still see something there. And again, with that defense, again, they could have won a couple of games this year where they made some real mental mistakes in the red zone. I don't know that Tomlin will get rid of D. Pickett. I just don't.
Yeah.
And I think the question there is he wants to firm up that offensive line, and he wants to pound the ball wherever he can pound it. That's going to be an interesting one because that's the one I've been looking at, and I'm going, will he trade? If he could get a trade, again, I love Gardner Minshew. I think he fits in with 4 or 5 teams, and he did. He had a great year considering where he come from, and I like Jacoby Brissett too. You've got 2 good quarterbacks there.
Randy,
the rest of them. The Pop Warner teams don't win.
So, okay, let's do this, okay, because I was about to pull you back for a quick second. Look, before the season began, everyone was saying, okay, who's going to be the MVP of the league? And it's going to be a quarterback. And Lamar Jackson won it, and he had an incredible regular season. However,
Brock Purdy didn't win it?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to send a thing to Nick. We got to send
Nick, of course, that didn't work out too well.
He didn't?
Nick definitely has something for us. He's not here today. A busy man. He's got to cover many hats.
He didn't talk about that last week.
He didn't. That's true. Maybe I didn't bring it up.
Yeah.
Maybe it's for the best.
No, he's hiding that. But I'm not going to let him forget. Turn out the lights, the party's over.
You have that written down where you say, make sure I find a spot to throw in.
I have that one. And the other one that I use a lot now when I get into the bathroom, start shaving. Everybody knows this one. Lord, what have I ever done to deserve this? Yeah, I sing that because with some of my picks this year, I in the morning I was really hounding that tune out. And I also hound that out. Don't listen, wife. When she drives me crazy, I'll sing that in the morning.
Okay. Easily transitioning from that thought over to the NCAA basketball end of season. Obviously, it's Friday. We've got a weekend's worth of games left. Most of the conferences that are predicated on the number one team during the regular season have pretty much wrapped up their way into the current field of 68 due to automatic qualifiers.
Right.
Others are going to be playing in conference tournaments that are going to be beginning as early as, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday. The 6th, I think, is when the Sun Belt is. And so,
yeah, I think a couple of them start next week.
A little
and
bit
then the
early.
most
Thursdays and then Friday. So we're about a week away from the heart of conference tournament action. So obviously, the Eastern Kentuckys and the Vermonts and the Richmonds and Daytons, Richmond's already automatically in through the A-10. Who else here? Eastern Washington in the Big Sky. UConn, of course, is an automatic qualifier. We know them along with many others like Marquette, Creighton, Seton Hall, and Providence out in the Big East.
Well, and the Houston Cougars have got to be right. They got to be a favorite.
Is not only a favorite, but let's take a look, Randy, here with what I have been predicting right now, your top 16, right? And so the number 1 seeds, I would probably go with Purdue, UConn, Houston, and maybe Arizona. The only one that I could probably think of, if it's not going to be Arizona, maybe UNC.
Yeah, Carolina, I still think, especially if we get down to the end of this season and they keep winning.
Yes.
They had that little draw there. But if they keep winning and they do well in that conference tournament, they're going to be a number 1 seed.
And so, right, I've got a good feeling that, when we take a look at the 3, right, there's 3 that I'm automatically just saying, right, this is very good. We reached a point, where there's a clear top group for me from my perspective. It's 3 this year. It's UConn, Purdue, and Houston. Yes, of course, Houston's in the Big 12, and that looks just fine. All 3 do it differently, of course. Houston's got, just defensively, they're just going to destroy you. Purdue, if you haven't watched a Purdue game, what are you doing? Stop this episode. Well, don't stop the episode. As a matter of fact, if you're going to stop it, make sure you like and subscribe, and then go and watch it after this episode. But Zach Edey is...
He hasn't had that many years playing basketball.
No, he's been playing hockey, actually, probably more than he's been playing basketball.
He's phenomenal.
So he's 7'4", in his bare feet, he's 300 pounds, and I don't know, like, you can't call it like a Syracuse situation where it was just Carmelo and everybody else, but have we seen something like this before, Randy, where it's one giant?
Awkward. If you watch him running up and down the floor,
he does.
It's a pure talent. But I'm telling you, he's a beast.
No, there's no one stopping him
at
in
that
his conference.
Lord,
nowhere.
Lord, I'd be making money. But he is far exceeded where I thought he was going to be after
right.
last.
So Zach Edey obviously is the Big Ten Player of the Year, maybe the College Basketball Player of the Year. Can do it all with that size. There's really no one that could stop him.
Yep.
You could double team him, and it probably still won't matter. UConn, of course, Huskies, and Randy, you and I think both of us came out and called them out maybe about a month ago when we were on Fox 11 Morning Show.
I still like them, and again, when you look at UConn, and again their resume over the whole season tells me they're going to make it to the Sweet 16 Elite 8 just by being a number 1 seed. Again, the thing that really concerns me is, like you say, we brought up North Carolina. They've got to be, I guess, really put the ball in the hoop over these next few games. And again, they had a little lackadaisical effort on defense for a couple of games. That doesn't win tournaments. And again, my philosophy in football is defense wins championships. The teams with the best guards, and you look this up, you go back to Baylor. Everybody had said the Zags were going to beat Baylor. But you go by the great UCLA teams and all the great teams. They had Lou Alcindor back in those days, but they had great guard play.
Yeah.
And you look at today's era of college basketball, you got to have great guards. And, that's why, I don't know if we want to talk Cinderellas right now, the Florida Atlantic Owls with their guard play are going to surprise some teams, and you're going to see the Zags in there. The Zags have very good guards.
Okay, I will come back to that and dark horses, Cinderellas, and the like far, far later, with no need to even start looking into any of this until the bracket's actually set.
I've got them down.
The bracket has to be set, Randy.
Well, it does, but already in my mind, there's 6 or 7 teams. I'm saying, okay.
Okay, so let me present this to you. We know UConn's going to be in the Boston leg. Okay, so if you're set in the East, you're not making it because UConn's making it to the Final Four. They're going to be in the Boston region. They're going to the Final Four.
As a number 1 seed.
Yes.
And the same thing with Houston. I don't see the real top number 1 seeds not getting there. I don't.
Okay. All right. So I need to find ways to punch holes into it. I think I just did.
Okay.
Arizona. Okay. So we're talking about Arizona or UNC. So who exactly is going to be, that last number 1 seed?
Well,
it's to me, right. So what we're looking at, it's a race. Arizona was projected with the fourth number 1 seed when they did the top 16 bracket reveal, right? And so they lost to Washington State, and they have limited big time games left, honestly. So we're looking, Tennessee still has Auburn, South Carolina, Kentucky, and the SEC tournament. I think that Tennessee's got the best shot to jump to that number 1, personally.
And that's a good one. I don't like the Pac-12. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I think Arizona's overrated. Coach has done a great job there, but I think they're overrated. And again, you look at the ACC versus the Pac-12. Okay. They're playing AAU junior high school teams.
Okay, they're not, but I understand,
okay.
Yes.
So, I would have to go with Carolina. And again, the Bigs, obviously they got some talent. Some seniors are back on that team. So I like them.
All right, let's switch over to the last school. We know we clearly are hopping all on board with the number 1 seeds. Let's take a look at who might be on the outside looking in, right? And so this is where I finally get to reveal, yes, I went to St. John's not too long ago. A big fan of everything that's happened over the last couple of years. Obviously, Rick Pitino's the coach now. The Red Storm. So their quest to get an at-large bid, right? They haven't had the best of seasons. However, okay, I have a feeling that depending on how Villanova performs down the stretch, they currently have 1 win over a team that's a lock for March Madness, which is Creighton, but they swept the Wildcats during the regular season. And so I've got a feeling that things play themselves out this weekend, and in the Big East tournament, I'm going to see St. John's back in the tournament. Just get me in. I'm not even going to ask for a win right now.
That brings to mind the old Jim Boeheim teams. I think one year they were, 17 and 14 they got in.
They got in.
So, again, is the caliber of the Big East that good? I'm just asking. Granted, they're going to have a few teams in the tournament.
Yep.
But there's a couple really on the bubble. But again, I still question that record. And again, if I remember right, their road record is not real good.
It's not good. No.
So when you start looking at quad 1 wins or quad 2 wins, how you do on the road means a lot.
It's true.
So I hope you're right, because I know you have a little love for back there. But I see a lot better teams that are in that mix that should get a bid.
So let's talk about a team that had quite the game on the road just a few nights ago in the Nevada Wolfpack.
I had 3 heart attacks.
Stop. No, you didn't.
Yeah,
I did not have 3.
I did.
Listen,
I think I did.
You're speaking about quads, right? Nevada picked up its 6th quad 1 win Tuesday night at Colorado State, right? So only, check this out, Purdue, UConn, Houston, Arizona, North Carolina, and Wisconsin have more.
Well,
that's it. And then it's Nevada.
Here's the thing. I still question whether or not the Mountain West is going to get 6. But all indications are right now 6 teams are going to make it. The one thing I don't understand, and you can help me because you're from back east, the East Coast gives no love to the West Coast teams. They got Nevada on the bubble.
That's right.
They've won. They got the best road record in the Mountain West.
Okay, so let me speak on behalf of East Coast. Nevada, everything plays itself out the way it's supposed to. First off, Mountain West this year is absolutely bonkers ridiculous. Maybe the most exciting
and again, the
conference
best
that we could
record
find.
On the road.
I think they'll get, at worst, a 9 seed.
And that's where I have them, Rob. I have an 8 or 9. Most people have them at a 10.
No.
But
8 or 9.
This team, and again, I know we're talking about it maybe a little early. This team wins tonight, and they beat Boise next week. They have a shot at winning the conference crown.
That's correct, right?
This team, I just hope they don't stumble during the Mountain West tournament, which Nevada teams tend to do. But you talk about a surprise team in the tournament. You don't want to play Nevada with Blackshear or McIntosh at the point guard, because this team is starting to come around. If we can get the big guy, Himes, together a little bit, this team is dangerous. Very dangerous.
Obviously, and tonight, we're talking about tonight. If they lose tonight, then they got a really big problem there. We've got, at Baldini's, we've got them 14.5. My supervisor, Sean, he immediately came out like the night after. He said they're probably going to come 15, so he was pretty much right on the numbers.
With a very low total. So they're saying that basically Fresno's not going to score.
No, that's true.
That scares me a little bit, but
that's true. So
this team is surprised. They could surprise some people.
So, Randy, again, early, we have no idea where anyone's going to be bracketed, but we talked a little bit about some of the conferences I think everyone should be following. Take a look and see what happens, from the Big East. Mountain West, I really want to see some really good numbers coming out of the Mountain West as well.
These guys that have all the bracketology, if you will, because East Coast gives no West. And any team in the Mountain West, all right? Now, you've got Colorado State, who Nevada beat the other night, has had some very big wins early November.
Yes,
big wins.
All right.
San Diego State can play with anybody. I think Utah State is very good. And New Mexico has the most talent, but for whatever reason, Patino's kid hasn't meshed them. They're still very good, but they have the most talent. And when you got Mashburn and House as your point guards, again, point guards win championships.
Yes.
Watch a surprise play from them as well during the tournament.
All right, then let's see here. I want you to go ahead and poke holes in some of my. I typically don't do this from my side of the counter, but here's who I realistically think can win the title this year. We talked about Houston, UConn, Purdue. I'll say Auburn, Tennessee for sure, Kentucky, Arizona. Obviously, we're talking about them as a 1. Marquette. Duke and Kansas. Now, I don't want to call. First off, Duke and Kansas have like injury problems, right? And so if that looks good in 2 weeks, then we could revisit them. But I think that's where I want to go and start. But I honestly think just right now, without a bracket, I think Houston wins it. I'm changing my.
I have UConn in them, but after watching them this last week, they're tough. And they've got senior leadership on that team.
Yep.
Which, there's some of those guys that have been there before. Watch out. And again, not to I'm totally against Gonzaga every year. But this team, they're coming on right now, and Mark Few is going to have them ready. And again, like I say, I'm not a fan, but don't be surprised if they don't get to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8.
I was about to say no bracket. How far do they go? Yeah. So you're thinking Elite 8.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
You're going to have some Cinderella teams. I love Florida Atlantic. I love what this coach has done. I love the nucleus. And again, guard play wins championships in college basketball. And I'm telling you, these guys race up and down the floor. Watch out for them. And I think you got to watch out for a New Mexico or Nevada in the Mountain West. Because, again, Nevada plays excellent defense. So when you get to a real tight game, Nevada's got to be able to hit that three-point shot, and they can't miss free throws like they've been doing. But they can play defense. And, again, they have the best guard play besides New Mexico in the Mountain West.
Yes, exactly right. As of course, Randy, that was terrible radio, but I'm going to point out to those listening to us today, that was you holding up the Nevada Wolfpack logo on your sweater. Yes, you definitely want nothing to do with any kind of a horn or a whistle for the Pac-12.
I don't need it,
and that's fine. I'll go ahead and ring their bell since I do like a couple of schools from there, but that's fair.
Washington was They were 71, right, in the net ratings. I think Nevada hammered them in Seattle, didn't they? We hammered them.
Fight. Okay.
And we hammered Oregon in the controlled scrimmage back there. So
what is a controlled scrimmage?
They didn't allow people in. San Diego State, Nevada, New Mexico. Watch out.
Okay. Randy, on to some other things I'd like to ballyhoo and champion is what we did last week. We started it in its first leg.
Thank you, Lord.
Your streak now reaches its second step. So
First time in a long time. There.
this is where I have wanted to do a little psychological test on Randy Weick and Nick Schulte, who's not here. However, he has submitted his selection.
And it's not Brock Purdy.
It is not Brock Purdy.
Okay.
It is an individual.
Oh, okay.
It's not a team, and this is what I'm excited. I'm going to wait up because actually you're the one that did hit your leg last time. Of course, last week you hit with Akron, and now you've got all of that you're going to put on your next leg. Remember the rules. It could be a point spread. It could be a total. It could even be a money line. It could be a dog of any price, but your favorite has to remain, I'm going to say, at $1.40 or less. Randy, who's your pick this week?
Loyola Chicago. They're in a must-win situation. They had a little tough road trip last week. Mm-hmm. They're at home. This is a big game for them. I'm all over Loyola Chicago. I don't know if the sister's going to be present, but I love them. And, you know, I had a real tough time because I also like Utah State today against Air Force, but I'm going to stick with that lower spread, a game that I think, again, you say you get 3 points for being at home. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a tight game all the way around, but I like Loyola Chicago.
Randy, your line that you will have, and this is for the second leg, all of everything will go on Loyola Chicago, host to Dayton at Pick'em. It's a Pick'em, so you win by 1. You're rolling on to leg number 3.
Help me, Lord.
Loyola Chicago at 20-8, the host to Dayton. Dayton, absolutely no layovers either. 22-5 on the season. Quite the matchup, Randy, that you pick. I appreciate this. I like the cut of your jib here.
Yeah, I'm taking this shot, but I'm telling you, the home court,
right?
And that's why I love college sports, but college basketball in particular. The defense will come up a little notch. They're playing at home. You're going to have a rowdy crowd, right, even at Loyola of Chicago. And this is I'm going to be watching the game tonight. So
this game goes at 6 p.m. Pacific for all of you that like to go ahead and tail Randy Weick. The pick that I'm pulling up right now is belonging to Nick. Nick, you're not here. However, your pick is in, and I'm really, really appreciating this because something that he really hasn't let on ever since we started this endeavor is his love and passion for Formula One racing.
He's getting desperate. How many people know anything about Formula One racing?
It might be that we have our very own expert right here.
That's
not
scary
here now.
thought.
However, in the Bahrain Grand Prix,
okay,
this race is tomorrow, 7 a.m. Pacific, and he's choosing. Well, actually, when you take a look at it, it's a very wise pick.
I won't be awake at 7 a.m., so I'm sorry.
You better believe I will too. I'm rooting for him.
Yeah. Okay.
At the back-to-back F1 champion, Max Verstappen. So, Nick, you are not exactly going for an easy here. He's getting 5-1 odds. Yeah, in most shops, he's the favorite. However, he's got a lot of drivers to go up against. No easy task to win, but he's got a kid here that's obviously a champ last year, champ the last 3 years. Go ahead and get your price right now if you'd like to follow Nick Schulte. We're going to go ahead and have these picks.
What is he currently at?
5-1.
5-1.
5-1 is what the price he's going to get. I'm going to lock this in.
Folks,
and you're going
if you're at the race
in Bahrain,
yeah,
do you know where Bahrain is?
Yeah, but if you're at the race, every 4 minutes or 5 minutes, a car you'll see come by. What are you doing the rest of the time, especially over there?
Randy Weick,
have
you watched a Formula One race?
Well, yeah, I know when you take that other straightaway, you could probably drink a full beer by the time they get back around if you really chug it. But I'm having a hard time. How do I invest my money in a portion of the race you don't get to see?
Randy Weick's selection in our event here is going to be Loyola Chicago at pick. Randy, I wish you the best of luck. I really do want you to make it to step number 3.
I would love to.
Nick, albeit he did not get his pick correct last week, He's choosing tomorrow morning's race at Bahrain, Max Verstappen, 5-1 odds. Randy, that's all I could take today.
Turn out the lights, the party's over.
Thanks so much for coming
Thank
out here
you.
today in the rain and possibly the snow by the time we walk out. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Once again, I'm Robert Kowalski.
I'm Randy
Joined-
Wyke.
Randy Wyke.
Thank you.
See you again next time. Okay. Well, we were all wrapped up and we're leaving for the show. After further review, Max Verstappen's not 5-1. He's minus 500, Randy, to win this race. Obviously, as we said, back-to-back-to-back champs, he's number one on the starting grid in qualifying.
I've never seen him minus 5. Now, why? Even more so, why would you bet on him?
So, okay, number one, very good point. Number two, not legal, at least in these sets of rules. So I said to Nick, hey, I don't know how you read this, but it's not going to be Max Verstappen. So who would you like to pick instead?
He didn't pick Brock Purdy, did he?
No, he did not
Okay.
pick Brock Purdy.
Okay.
What he did do, however, and I'll give him some props on this one. He took Charles Leclerc, a Ferrari, who finished second in qualifying. So he's right to the right in pole position to Max Verstappen. So, look, he's got himself a really nice price right now. First leg up, going to be a bit of a challenge, but 9-1, Randy.
Nick, on this race, especially over there, you get to see him come by and you don't see him again for minutes. And you're betting on this?
I have actually a prediction. He's not going to watch one lap.
No, he won't.
Nick, very well done. Charles Leclerc, 9-1. And everyone, if you'd like to follow along, go ahead and hit it. It's 9-1 right now. 7 a.m. Pacific, start of the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Nick, I got some oceanfront property in Phoenix, Arizona. I want to sell you too.
Thanks so much, everybody. See you later now.
Thank you for listening to the Bookie and the Bettor Show. New episodes post every Thursday on your favorite streaming service.